Welcome to the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. I'm your host, Ron Holt. Welcome to episode number 7 of the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast. Today, we have the good pleasure of meeting with Dominic and Lisa Neary, who are the owners of Optomax Electric. Now, on your website, you say that you're a family-owned business who pride themselves in local expertise, competitive pricing, and exceptional communication. And you say when you choose us, you're not just hiring an electrical contractor, you're partnering with a team that cares about delivering quality service work and ensuring your installations and repairs are carried out efficiently. So we'd like to unpack that a little bit more,
Let's do it.
if you like, Dominic, and just tell us about your business and kind of unpack that for us.
Well, we are relatively new as far as our actual own business, Optomax. We've been open since February and kind of got things rolling in March. And a big part of it just kind of came to where we were trying to go with our family. At that time, what we were trying to build with our lives, we were working towards these goals of creating a sustainable life for ourselves. And so to better surmise, I would say the business started to revolve around wanting to build valuable relationships that we could extend to friends, family, clients, and build a network of people we enjoyed working with and we could add value to. So I've been working here in Austin since 2017. Now we're out in Cedar Creek area, but we still serve Greater Austin. We put the drive in to get to the people. So the last 7 years, we've been building relationships with people, doing projects with contractors and clients, meeting a lot of great people. And now we got this opportunity to really create something for ourselves, which is great. I've worked for many great businesses, great mentorship, and really everybody's been so supportive. My wife, Lisa, all my masters that have mentored me to this point, the companies that I've worked with, and it feels really amazing to finally get to build something, that we're really in charge of. We can have our own touch on these things and really give the experience that we want to give to our clients.
That's good. Now, you said you're new, I guess fairly new, right?
Yeah.
Although you're new, you still bring a wealth of experience and wisdom because...
Yeah, well,
why?
New to owning our own business. The nice thing is, again, talking about the mentors, I've kind of always wanted to do this. Even before my wife and I met, my dad was a small business owner. Yeah. And I got to see building those relationships with people and that gratification that comes from doing a good job and for that person you're really interacting with. And I've been at electrical work for about a decade now. So with those people that have brought me up, they could see that I've been asking those questions. How do y'all do these things? And so I've been getting a lot of wisdom from those teachers of the past that really wanted me to do better than them. And I have the same kind of drive for our kids and the people I work with, continue to build that wisdom for everybody so we can provide a better service. So yes, young in those terms of the business, but many, many years of wisdom, experience working in the field and doing the right things to build a good foundation of value and expertise in the field.
I like that. You're not sacrificing quality at all.
No.
Right?
Oh, no.
It sounds like you have a growth mindset and you're not afraid to bring people with a great amount of experience and wealth of knowledge and draw them close to you. And that's part of who you are and that's your business.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Tell us about your journey. Why did you or how did you get into this in the first place?
It kind of all started, I would say, after high school. The only thing I wanted to do was play music, drums specifically. Oh. That was my go-to. That's how we met.
It is how we met.
Really?
Yeah. I love music and all kinds, old, new, different genres.
Wow.
And so I've always been drawn to that aspect. And one of the things I knew I always wanted in a partner in life was someone that was passionate and driven. And I was hesitant at first, but because I was just in a different place at that time and wasn't really looking that. I was doing my own soul searching when I moved back, and I've always been really family centric. And anyways, different story. But and I just saw his passion and his drive, and a lot of musicians will just do music, but he didn't want that. Like, he wanted more. So he was doing music, and he was also doing electrical work, and he was working his way up. And that's how we bonded, because we were both passionate, driven people that knew what it would take to get through life and build something and want something. And so we've always been very supportive on that aspect. At the same time, we've also known when it was time for one of us to take a step back in one aspect so that we could step forward in the other.
Yeah. That's tremendous.
Right?
Yeah. So obviously a lot of shared values there. And I mean, passion, like she speaks to, was a big part of it. So when I was leaving high school, I was all music all the time, but I needed money, as we all do. So I got a job in retail. I was working at Academy, and it was interesting because I really enjoyed the customer service aspect of it. Yeah. But I quickly realized that working in the same place every day was not it for me. It could not really get me over the edge. So what I decided to do was go into the trade. It was kind of like, people were talking about, do you go to college? Or some people are looking to go into trades. I was given the advice, why not a trade? Yeah. Electrical seemed the most theoretically interesting to me, like not just totally labor. So I liked that aspect of it. Yeah. So I went to trade school and I got an apprenticeship, not union, but basically starting out as a helper apprentice. And I mean, even getting to Austin, it was still music driven, but what I needed was something also to be building alongside music, something that I love to do. So like she was saying, like, I'm passionate about electricity and electrical work, and
nerds out on it.
Oh, totally. I'm a total nerd on it.
I love it. We're both nerdy in our own ways.
I gotta watch my morning video of electrical theory. That's just how it goes. But music brought me over here, but I always had electrical as this kind of side part of my life that was building with it. Mm-hmm. And so when I moved here, both musically and electrically, bigger opportunities coming from a smaller town in Louisiana at that time. Yeah. And as music went up, so did the electrical side. When I met her, I would say I was a little more focused on the music at the time. Oh, I was 22 or 23. And meeting her, she was at a more mature place in her life. So she was kind of like, hey, maybe you should get that license. I'm like, I guess I could. And so,
well, here's the thing. So he was already doing it. That's the part, right? And when you're doing it, you should just do it. Yeah. Right? And that's what it was for me. I'm like, because once you make more, as you get the experience and you build it.
Bigger opportunities.
You get more, but also too, more trust with the employer and your mentor, right? So, and then you start getting duties that you wouldn't normally get at that point had you not had that passion and the license and the driven.
And that's exactly that. Yeah. Just spark was all I needed, because as soon as I got my first license, you need 3 to get to your master's. As soon as I got my first one, that was the advice my mentor gave me. Just don't stop. Keep going. Get these things as you can get them. And that was great. Big ups to her. I really don't know where I'd be. But she at least gave me the spark on the path. That's awesome. And enough for me to kind of wise up a little bit. And once I got that license, like she was saying, the opportunities started to come in, bigger projects. And then I got to a point where I needed to take a step out. So I started to branch out to different companies with the good graces of my employer at the time. Yeah. And that led to bigger positions, another license. And then I had spent the last 3 years I worked for Fox Service Company, which I really enjoyed. And the best part of that aspect was it gave me the tools to essentially run my own business, because what they give you is jobs each day. And then you're responsible for meeting your client, talking them through the processing, quoting the jobs. That's great. Collecting at the end, invoicing. I mean, you really get trained to do it all. And it's a great place to land. And for us at the time,
they're a great company.
They are, you know, and as things were changing over there as well, it gave us a chance to take a look at what we wanted to do. We had all this experience. I had finally had enough time to go experience and hours to get my master's. We got that. And with another good nudge, I'd say we finally took the step forward.
A lot of nudging going on.
A lot of nudging, you know? Well, and I think the beautiful thing is I always have these plans in place, but she just kind of like,
I wouldn't call it nudging. What I would call it is an outside perspective. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, as his wife and partner, and we consider ourselves pretty equal in our relationship and
that's good.
Finding compromise. And I'm like, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
Like, the customers love him. We've started calling him directly, even his past old customers, to schedule new appointments. He had to sign a non-compete clause when he left for a little bit with just the past clients because they loved him so much. Yeah. And they were like, okay, well, we'll wait our 6 months and we'll call you then. And
somehow they're finding my number. I'm not giving it out.
Awesome.
Yes. And that's just it, right? Like, they knew he was leaving Fox, but they wanted him because at the end of the day, he cares. He takes pride in his work. He wants what's best for the customer. So he's not going to come over there and just upsell you. He looks at what you need and works with your budget and finds a way to make your family good too, right?
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of emergency calls, and there's a lot of people that just, with life, something happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about us being a family-owned and a smaller business, we don't have necessarily the overhead that a corporation and the big dogs in town do, because they're just part of the corporate aspect, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a little different. And not that we don't have overhead. We've got a family and everything, but we really work with the customers. And I've been telling him, honestly, he should start doing podcasts or little videos on his troubleshooting. So
that would be tremendous.
Yeah. When he's around the house, I hear him, he gets calls, right? And he'll do his best to try to solve it for the person. If it's something that sounds, what do you call them?
Well, like simple, safe fixes, like a breaker that's tripped or a GFI that's tripped. We don't need to charge you to come out there. Like, I'm going to try to help you solve it if it's something safe.
That's good.
Yeah. And so, but I guess there are some of those, but the calls or the questions range. Those are typically the solutions, but the problem that the person's calling with are different every time.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing him and he's like, okay, well, have you checked this? Can you check that? And he really kind of walks it through to try to save them, because he can come out and do a free quote, but if he's not really needed, they don't need that either, and they can get it up even faster and not wait on the schedule, right? So
that's good.
Yeah, so he really goes above and beyond in the customer service and relationship.
I guess that's what I'm hearing. What you're saying is that's what differentiates you. What I always ask, what is the differentiating factor? What makes you different than somebody? Every business should be asking that. What makes me different than somebody else? And so what I'm hearing is you really do care. You're honest, and you're not after the bucks. And so you help somebody on a DIY, do it yourself. Mm-hmm. If they really can do it themselves, you're going to help them do it. But it's interesting. I was talking to you earlier, Dominic, how the advantages, what are the advantages perhaps and disadvantages of do it yourself? And why should somebody look to a professional before even trying to tackle a job themselves?
Well, we did talk about this a little earlier. And one of the things you kind of brought up was, is it worth your investment of time? Because a lot of these things require a certain knowledge base to get into. Right? If you want to change out a light switch or a plug, you need to do some research, because anything to do with electrical has potential hazard associated with it.
It can be very dangerous.
For a lot of people, that is just, I want to make a call. I want to make sure this person is licensed, knows how to do it, and is going to do it correctly and safely. I mean, that's one pro to calling a professional. But when we've kind of talked about it too, with the advantages of the internet, a lot of things can be solved for yourself. And I'm big on that. Like, we can fix some of our car and plumbing issues.
Yeah.
But we know when to call somebody.
Exactly.
Too.
And that's what we talked about too. Like, you're changing out your switch and you're like, okay, here's the video for it. And you open up your switch and all of a sudden you got 2 extra wires in there. And that's a big call that
Don't ignore that.
That's the one where, hey, I changed out this plug and the lights in the kitchen don't work now.
Yeah.
And I'm big for educating people. If I'm on the site, I'm going to show you why that happened, in case we're all learning here. For most people, electrical hazards are a big thing. So I could totally understand. Just call a professional, get it done correctly, safely the first time. That's big. And then a lot of times you have this intention to go do it yourself, and it's just not quite lining up with that video or article you're reading. And before you just see if it works.
Before you cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's good. That's good. That leads us to another question is tell us about some myths or misconceptions you hear about your line of work and business.
I clean up after myself when I'm done with my jobs. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of like meme about electricians don't clean up after themselves, which I think is hilarious. It's probably because we have all these little wire trimmings. And yeah, I get it. It's hilarious, actually. But I do clean up after myself, do everybody that works with me. And it always just makes me laugh when people are like, thank you for cleaning up after yourself. I'm like, oh, come on. This is the standard, people. So that's one. And then the other one is kind of like we were talking about. There's just a lot of ways we can do things. So there is not usually just one way to do something. So if you have in mind, I want to have this project done and you're told it has to be done this way, or you're in your mind, you're thinking it has to do this way. What I always recommend is give us a call. We're going to give you a free quote. And with my expertise and knowledge, and also working with the customer on what they need and what they're capable of doing, we can come up with a solution that might be outside of what you were originally thinking. Like one of the things that I see a lot is backup power with grid issues and the freezes that have been happening. A lot of people have the presumption that I've either got to have a big standby generator or I've got to have a solar array with battery backups. Yeah. And sometimes, and it can be nice if you have the means to do it, and we work on those standby generators. But another thing is a portable generator that can be hooked into a home. If it's able to be used and it's accessible to people, a lot of times it's like a tenth of the cost of a standby generator. So that's something that you might think it's just impossible. I can't afford a $15,000 generator installation, because a lot of times they get pretty expensive considering some of the obstacles. But you might not have to do that. We could take a look and say, hey, we actually can get your AC on, your refrigerators running, and your general lights and plugs for a lot cheaper than that, That's
good. So you're giving them educated choices, right?
Absolutely.
It's in their hands, but you're going to educate them and let them make that logical choice.
100%.
That's really good.
And that's what I really mean by working with the customer and their needs and where they are, right? And really focusing on getting them like what their family needs, honestly.
That's good.
That's part of that differentiator. Like she was saying, it always felt so bad when you have to meet a quota. When you go to a job and if you're there for this long, you better charge this much. Yeah. That was one of the things I just could not stand about working for another company that kind of worked that way. Yeah. If I go there and I have to spend a little more time here because of something that's a little more nuanced than before, and I think it's fair, I'm not going to charge somebody extra for that. I don't have to put in a certain price tag on things. I can actually give a value towards the work that we're doing. And a lot of people really appreciate that.
I love that. I call it, what I call that is leading with generosity. That's what I'm hearing what you're saying. Yeah. You're a generous soul, and you just we create margin in their life, and it's not about the money. It's just serving people well. It'll follow. Yeah. You're going to be taken care of. And we talked about family a little bit. You have 3 boys. That's a full-time job for Lisa right there, a full-time and a half right there. Yes. And so in comparison, I think Dominic is part-time and Mom is full-time, right?
Oh, the kids,
Yes, yeah.
But you got twins. You got a 4-year-old and twin 2-year-olds. Yes. So my goodness. What do you do as a family for fun? How do you break away from all this busyness? You're very creative and active people in your lives and community, right?
Yeah, we are. We go to community gardens a lot. So one of the things that we do, like I like to do with the kids, I call them our Fridays.
Fridays?
Yes. And so with part of that is going over to community gardens in the evening a lot and supporting the community over there. They have a wonderful facility. I'm sure you're very familiar.
Oh, they do. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. They have great resources for the kids. Summer started, they put up a big pagoda. They got lots of shade trees anyways, so made it even a little more enjoyable when they got the live music. And the bounce houses, when they have the bounce houses.
Bounce houses, oh my goodness.
She's getting excited.
Our oldest will see it from 71, and he's like, Mom,
It's
bounce
on.
house. Yeah. And I'm like, Friday. So, I mean, just make it a little bit special to kind of break up that monotony. The kids, our weekend is our family time. And we focus on a lot of life skills. So we involve the boys in pretty much all facets of our life and what it takes. So one of our twins already fills up his own water bottle. The other one can fill it up. He just can't get the lid back on. But everybody is super, because they see us and they just wanted help, right? Everybody needs a purpose, including the little ones. And so we really try to foster that and give them some choices and options. And our oldest, if they help me in the kitchen a lot, I love food. It's a very strong passion of myself and something that we do part-time. It's actually our second business, Salutary Goods. And it's over in Lockhart, but it's part-time. It's meant just to really bring that healthy food to other families, honestly, in the community over there. So I get Levi involved a lot with that. The twins are finishing up with Bastrop Montessori School this summer. And as we've been kind of redirecting, they've been wonderful over there, though. And the twins and everyone really kind of blossomed. And it's been a nice support to our community, our lifestyle too, because our village is pretty small. My dad, our papa, he helps out, and my mom recently passed away. Dominic's family's out of state for the most part. So I got a niece close by. So we try to make play dates with them to keep family and the kids growing up together, because she's got kids too. So, you'll notice like the common theme with us is we really are family oriented, right? We see Papa on every Sunday at least.
That's great.
If not, now with the food trailer and going over to Lockhart a little bit more, he works out of Caldwell County. So now we're able to see him even more, which has been really good.
That's wonderful.
And Levi and the boys, they love getting their hands dirty. I can't even tell you how many times they've washed those tables over on our patio. But they love doing it. And if we see that, like I said, we follow their interests. So when we see them interested in something, we help them. And, so they're real big on counting. So they'll tell us how many they want of things, numbers, and just gardening. We're planting. We've got a couple dogs, and we're also...
We got a good mom. We got a good mom here.
Life is full.
So, we focus just on, you create the life you want.
You create the life you want. I like that.
And I love what you said there. It is really, as far as what we do for fun, I mean, we really like to see what they're interested in. I think the most fun we have is seeing them enjoying getting into something. If they want to do drums, maybe I'll push that along a little bit.
I was going to say, our oldest did tell us last night that he wanted to play drums. He was ready. He was ready. He wanted to join the band. Yeah.
So it's time to put a little bit of soundproofing on the walls, maybe?
Yes, it is. It is.
That's fun.
He's got both an electronic set and an acoustical set.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he always played acoustical, but when we got the kids, and he used to wake up super early and he would drum every morning. And so obviously acoustical drums in the house, even with soundproofing, is not the answer. So so his sister actually surprised him with an electrical drum set for Christmas. So that I know.
Yep.
It's the support, right? It's relationships you build in life, and the communication and the aspects, and just really, we're all people. We're all human. Yeah. No one's perfect. But if you got a good heart and good soul, that's really all it takes in life, right?
That's right.
And anyway, so that electrical drum set came, and that's what he started using. So it was quieter. The pads. Yeah.
You find a way.
You do.
That's a wonderful gift.
It was.
Yes.
I know we can probably unpack this and go a long way, but can you describe a hardship or life challenge that you rose above and now can say because of that, you're better for it? Because who you are bleeds into everything you do, right? So it's really important. So where have you found those experiences that have helped you?
When I think about that question, it's a very deep question. So I don't really know if I could just point out like one specific time, because when I start to think more about it, it really does have to do with just how life has seemingly gone. And when you talk to other people, just what life is in general, the pain, that you suffer when you lose somebody that you love. That's really hard. The pain that when you gain a life. As we all know, having kids is no easy task either. You become incredibly flexible and selfless to take care of those kids. And through the different kinds of jobs we've done, through music, the biggest thing that has come to light is just having a good support system and belief in self has always been the thing that's carried us through. Like one thing is I'll be in an attic and it's 1 a.m. and these people do not have power and I can't trace this down when I'm crawling across this tiny attic, and finally like I'm losing hope, but I just continue on, and then there's that burned up wire at the corner of the attic underneath the insulation, and just a small thing to speak to, never giving up, knowing that you're going to be okay. You have a good system of people believing in you, and you're going to figure it out and you're going to make it happen.
I like that. Tell our listeners one thing you wish they knew about your business.
The biggest thing is that we are really searching to work with people that we enjoy working with. I mean, the tenets are basically, are we bringing value to each other?
Yeah.
Do we like each other? So we're going to work together. Let's make sure we like each other, and then
got to go both ways, right?
And we're going to make the numbers work from there. So that's why I'm always like, let's do a free quote. Let's meet each other. Let's see what you need, and let's make the numbers work. So I'm always just open to the opportunity to get to know somebody and see how we can interact and bring something to each other's lives.
That's wonderful. Now, speaking of free quote, I thought maybe you could interject this.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about somebody had received a quote. We won't name names, but I think it was around a pool, some kind of trench work, right? They were given a quote and the value of getting a second quote even because of what happened. Can you tell us what?
Yeah, I met this person just recently, and speaking to getting creative, we talked, and they were under the presumption that they were going to have to trench all the way around their house over 100 feet.
Wow.
And the rocky soil in Austin is no joke. I was a little confused, so I just asked, are you opposed to going on the side of the home? We could go down low with some nice looking conduit. And she was, oh, of course, I would love that. I didn't know we could do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course we can do that. Giving the other option of we can ride down low, clean around to your pool area, get it there, and just seeing her face brighten up when she heard that. And you get that a lot. And it's not even just another quote. Sometimes it's just that thought in your head, I guess it's going to have to be this. It's like, not necessarily. No. We can get creative and we can figure out a solution.
I love that. I love that.
And I believe the quote was much less.
Oh, it will be much less. The trenching will be more than my quotes.
A fraction of the cost, less time, hassle, all the way around, right?
100%.
And keeping it clean. Like we do commercial work too, and they require a lot of conduit runs and bending. And he is very...
Oh, listen to her.
Yes.
Keep going.
I was going to say, honestly, like, because if he's not happy with it, he just redoes it.
Yeah, we got to make a good product. I mean, you have an architect over here. We both thrive on that, doing the best job. I love that. Yeah.
Now, speaking of architect, I looked at your website. I was so impressed with your logo, the look. Where can they go to find out more about your business? Start with the website.
Yeah, the website is Optomax Electric, which is OPTOMAX Electric.
I like that name, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, it's a namesake.
I was going to say, when did you think of that name?
Oh, that'd be 2006 as a 12-year-old looking
12-year-old
boy looking to make an online game account. I'm like, well, I got to think of a name. Yeah.
Now, I'm dating myself. That reminded me, I'm talking to you before, it reminded me of the Jetsons, right? That cartoon, right? Optomax, I love that. Exactly. Electric.
Yeah, like we kept bouncing around to other names, and I was like, you know what, babe? I was like, if that's the one you're drawn to,
I love it.
Do it. Yeah.
So that website there is a great way. Email optomaxelectric@gmail.com. We can talk there, or also direct calls and text are totally fine and a good way to communicate. Our phone number is 503-757-8327. And finding us there, we've got project photos on the website. You can get an idea of what the kind of work we've done, the different kind of scopes of work that we do as well, and the descriptions of each task there. So the website is definitely the most resourceful way to get information.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Well, pick up your phone, give them a call, check out the website. It's been a pleasure talking with the both of you today, and we wish you all the best and blessings on your business today.
Thanks, Ron.
So much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast. To nominate your favorite local business to be featured on the show, go to goodneighborsoftexas.com. That is goodneighborsoftexas.com. We look forward to connecting good people with great businesses.